Hello. I will be reading the responses my sister gave to her interview. And the context for this interview was that I wanted to find the effects that probation had on her family dynamics, the relationships with the court officials, and the overall pros and cons of the probation system. First, I asked what her name and relation was to me. Her name is Tajane Humphrey, and she is my older sister. She is 21 years old and was arrested for burglary and committed the crimes because she needed to survive and get things she wanted. When asked if she spent time in jail and how long, she responded yes and spent 2 years in jail on and off because she kept seeing her co-defendant. And a co-defendant is someone who she committed the crime with. And the reason she kept seeing him was because the co-defendant was her boyfriend and she was in love. And then I asked, how old were you when you were arrested? And she said she was under 18. When asked how her family life growing up was, she responded she didn't have a mom or dad around to teach me right from wrong. My mom was an alcoholic and her dad never stepped up. She was separated from her siblings, which made her feel like she had no one to turn to. When asked how long was her probation and the rules she needed to follow, she said her probation was 4 years and the rules included a curfew, drug test, ankle monitoring, and counseling for mental health. She also said she needed to pay restitution, and when asked how much she had in the beginning, she couldn't remember, but she still owes $6,000 left. And when asked if these rules were hard to comply with, she said yes, the rules were hard to comply with. The curfew was the hardest because still felt like she was in jail and she wasn't able to smoke, nor was she able to be around her friends. However, she still smoked and went to her friends because she wanted to fit in with them and felt like she didn't have any other person in her life she could connect with. When asked if she violated probation and if so, how, oops, she said, yes, I violated probation a couple of times by smoking and being late to her curfew. When asked how her family handled her being on probation and if they supported her, she responded her family was disappointed in her because they because they felt she wasn't living up to her potential. They gave her places to stay, but she felt they could have helped her more emotionally because whenever she would try to speak with them about how she felt during probation, they would get mad and would refuse to speak on it and didn't really understand her side of they didn't really understand her perspective about probation. When asked how the court officials treated her and how her relationship with them evolved, she said her relationship with her caseworker was nice because her caseworker would check in with her and ask how she was doing and if she needed help. And the caseworker would also take her to restaurants and out to eat to see if she was doing well. She also said she liked her guardian ad litem because they're they were supposed to advocate for her and speak about how good her character was when she was on probation and when she was in jail. And initially, her relationship with the judge was hard and rough, but it improved when the guardian ad litem told the judge about her family life, about her parents, and how she didn't have any parental figure to look up to. And so the judge also saw her efforts and also gave her second chances to improve herself. And when asked what her relationships with the prison guards were when she was in prison, she responded, some prison guards were unsympathetic and didn't try to understand her background on why she was in prison. However, some prison guards went out of their way to try and understand them and speak to them and learn more about their life before they came to prison. And when asked if probation offered any programs or counseling that helped her, she said yes, probation offered therapy that was paid for and that she was placed in Third Way, which is a residential treatment center. The therapy helped her talk about her feelings with her family, and through that counseling, she grew closer with her family and felt their bond strengthen because she found secrets about certain family members that she never knew about before. And Third Way counseling also helped her cope with her anger through through coping mechanisms like writing in a diary about why she was angry instead of going out and committing crimes like burglary anymore. And she said Third Way also taught her responsibility through having to do her laundry, make up her bed, and being expected to go to school. And Third Way also provided transportation to school for her and also allowed her to go to school during the day. And this support helped her prepare her for independent living and applying for jobs in schools. Third Way also prepared her for Third Way also has an independent living section, which she did, and Third Way helped her with this by helping her pay her rent, and they also bought gave her money to buy groceries to help her continue living, and they also would help her that find jobs to help her earn money. And when asked what the positives and negative outcomes of her probation was, she said the positive outcomes was the counseling improved her mental health and family relationships. It helped her learn responsibility and life skills at Third Way. It helped achieve personal growth into her being a better person. And when asked about negative outcomes, she said the initial stress and anxiety from probation rules. And one specific example she gave was that having to stay at home and not getting to speak with people, it was more nerve wracking afterwards speaking to people because she grew less used to it due to having to stay home all the time due to her ankle monitor. And she also had difficulty complying with the rules set by the court. And she also felt that her family's emotional support was insufficient. And when asked how did probation affect her perspective on law enforcement and the legal system, she said initially she felt probation wasn't trying to help her and instead was punishing her. But over time, she saw its value in providing structure and opportunities for personal growth. It made her appreciate the roles of supportive court officials as well. And when asked how probation affected her education and employment opportunities, she said probation facilitated her education by allowing her to earn school credits. It also developed her skills for employment and independent living, preparing her for life after probation ended. I asked, looking back, is there anything you wish you had known or done differently during your probation? She said she wished she knew more about the support of it. She wished she knew more about how supportive the probation and court officials were going to be, and that she wished she had been more compliant with the rules earlier on during her probation so that it didn't take as long to complete. And when asked, did you have a support network outside of your family during your probation? If so, how did they contribute to your journey? She said yes, her caseworker and GLL were part of her support network due to the advocacy they supported, the emotional support and practical help they gave to her, contributing significantly to her journey and rehabilitation. And when asked, how do you plan to avoid similar situations in the future and move forward positively with your life? She said she plans to keep focused on her goals, use the skills she learned during probation, and maintain a positive outlook. She also added that due to her pregnancy, she plans to be there for her child and provide the support and guidance she felt she lacked. And when asked, do you have any advice for people currently on probation? She said, your probation officers are there to support you and help you, and to keep your head up, follow the rules, and stay focused because you can change if you remain determined. And that is it for my interview that I had with my older sister.